I don't know about you, but I feel horrible when I break a promise to myself. Your comfort zone is where your dreams go to die. So you think you've only been scrolling for 5 minutes. Girl, you've been scrolling for an hour. Have you ever had something that you needed to do, something that would actually make your life better, but instead you kept putting it off and then felt horrible about it later? That was me for a very long time. And if you can relate to that feeling of knowing that you want more for yourself, but you still struggle with being disciplined, then girl, this video is for you. Today I'm going to share with you exactly how to enter your discipline girl era and how to actually stay consistent. Let's get into it. Discipline is not something that you try to have. It's something you become. The moment you start saying, I am a disciplined person, instead of I'm trying to be more disciplined, everything shifts. Because once you can visualize and see yourself as that girl, you start acting like her. So instead of saying, I'm trying to be more disciplined, say, I'm a disciplined person. Your brain follows the identity that you give it. So when you see yourself as disciplined, your actions will naturally align with that belief. I want you to make one non-negotiable daily habit. So pick one small habit, whether it's waking up at 6 a.m., journaling for 5 minutes, and then make it a must-do instead of an option. This is going to build self-trust because you're proving to yourself that you do follow through no matter what. On social media, follow people who inspire you to be disciplined. If your environment is full of excuses and distractions, you're going to absorb that energy. Change your circle and your habits will follow. I want you to stop saying things like, I always procrastinate or I'm not consistent. Instead, I want you to start saying things like, I get things done. I'm someone who shows up. I do what I say I'll do. The words you repeat to yourself shape your reality. Start making discipline a lifestyle and not a chore. I want you to shift your mindset from I have to do this to this is just who I am. You don't think twice about brushing your teeth because it's part of your routine, right? Treat discipline the exact same way. It's just something that you do. Just think about this. When you believe you're a runner, what do runners do? They go for runs. When you believe that you're someone who wakes up early, you stop hitting snooze. Identity shapes your action. I want you to start telling yourself a new story. Speaking of stories, I want you to rewrite your narrative or the story that you have around discipline. Let me explain. A lot of us, including me, see discipline as restrictive, like it's somehow taken away from our freedom. But what if I told you discipline is freedom? The more disciplined you are, the more control you have over your time, your body, your money, and your future. Instead of thinking about discipline as restriction, think about discipline as self-respect. For instance, I don't force myself to wake up early. I wake up early because I respect my time and my future. Being disciplined says a lot about your integrity to yourself. Take on the mindset of discipline not being hard. It's a decision that I'm making for a better me. When you stop overcomplicating it, discipline actually becomes more simpler. Do what you said you would do. Period. Another mindset shift is thinking about discipline not as a burden, but actually as a superpower. The most successful people, they are not the most talented. They're the most disciplined. So say things to yourself like, every time I choose discipline and I choose to show up for myself, I am proving to myself that I can be unstoppable. Instead of seeing discipline as something that you have to do, see it as something that you get to do. You get to build the life you want. You get to build the body that you want. You get to prove to yourself that you can stay consistent. And trust me, when you start proving it to yourself, you're going to want to keep those promises to yourself. And I don't know about you, but I feel horrible when I break a promise to myself. It's like I'm letting myself down every time. Like, think about how good it feels when someone keeps their word. Now think about how it feels when someone constantly flakes on you. That's what happens when we break promises to ourselves. We stop trusting ourselves. I want you to start treating your commitments like appointments. You wouldn't cancel an important meeting at the last minute, so don't cancel on yourself. If you schedule a workout or a journaling session, I want you to treat it like a non-negotiable appointment. Stop negotiating with yourself. The more you debate whether or not to do something, the easier it is to talk yourself out of it. If you plan something, do it. No mental back and forth. And hold yourself accountable like you would do a friend. Like if a friend constantly flaked on you, you would lose trust in them, right? Same thing happens when you break your own promises. One good question to ask yourself is, would I trust someone who treated me the way I treat myself? If the answer is no, it's time to step up. Every time you follow through, you are reinforcing your belief that you are disciplined. Be the kind of person who can say, every small promise I keep is proof that I am the kind of person who follows through. That's just who I am. Tell yourself you're going to drink that glass of water in the morning and do it. Say you'll read for 5 minutes and follow through. It's not about the size of the action. It's about proving to yourself that you mean what you say. And one of the best ways to do that is to make it easy. One of the biggest reasons why people struggle with discipline is that they make their goals feel too big or too overwhelming. If something feels difficult or intimidating, your brain is wired to naturally resist it. That's why the key to staying consistent is to make starting a thing as easy as possible. Because once you start, momentum just takes over. One way to make discipline easier, lower your commitment to whatever thing you're trying to achieve. For instance, instead of committing to an hour-long workout, commit to maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Instead of reading a full chapter, commit to 1 or 2 pages. Another helpful tip is to create what I call a starting ritual. Train your brain to associate one small action with getting started. For instance, if you want to start working out, just put on your gym clothes. That's it. No pressure. No pressure to do anything else. If you want to study, open your notebook, write 1 word. Here's the thing. Once you start, your brain will naturally want to continue. Remove any type of restriction that may be in your way of starting. If something takes too much effort to start, you're less likely to do it. Want to work out? Lay out your gym clothes the night before. Want to eat healthy? Prep your meals ahead of time. Want to read more? Keep a book next to your bed. And I want you to celebrate your small wins. Every time you start, even if you don't finish, you're reinforcing that habit. Like if you just get 1% better every single day, that adds up to massive progress. The less effort it takes to start, the more likely you are to just do the thing. And once you start, focus on progress, not perfection. Now this one took me a long time to learn because I am very much a perfectionist. And I used to think that discipline meant doing everything perfectly. But that mindset just kept me stuck. Because the second that I missed a day or I slipped up, I felt like I failed. I used to overthink everything. Like if I couldn't do it perfectly, I wouldn't do it at all. Now I just focus on showing up because now I know that consistency is what creates results. Just completing something is better than perfection. Perfectionism leads to procrastination because you're afraid of not doing it right. So instead, I want you to focus on getting it done, even if it's not perfect. Small improvements over time lead to big transformations. Even if you improve just 1% daily, you'll be 37 times better by the end of the year. Just think about that. So instead of pressuring yourself to be perfect, just ask yourself, how can I be slightly better than I was yesterday? And honestly, mistakes are just proof that you're growing. Failure is not a sign to quit. It's a sign that you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Girl, your comfort zone is where your dreams go to die. And the truth about it is, the most disciplined people, they're not perfect. They're just consistent. They don't let one bad day turn into a bad week. And they don't give up when things aren't perfect. They just keep going. And I want you to do the same. And a big part of keeping going is knowing that motivation will not save you. Man, I used to wait before motivation hits, before I got up and did something, before I took action. But the problem about that is motivation is so unreliable because it comes and goes, like it ebbs and flows. Some days you feel inspired and energized, like other days you're gonna feel tired, unmotivated, or just not in the mood. And that's where discipline kicks in. Here's the truth. The people who succeed aren't the ones who feel motivated all the time. They're the ones who show up anyway. The crazy part about it is, once you start, motivation naturally shows up. Your actions are what's going to create the momentum, not the other way around. If you only take action when you feel like it, you're going to always struggle with consistency. And this is why discipline matters way more than motivation, because your discipline is what's going to keep you going when your motivation is nowhere to be found. Here's a few ways to build discipline even when motivation is gone. Systems or routines rely on consistency. So instead of saying, I want to work out more, set up a system. I work out every morning at 7 a.m. no matter how I feel. Another good way to build discipline is to detach from your feelings. Like, you don't wait to feel like brushing your teeth, right? You just do it. Treat discipline the same way and remember your why. You have to remember why you're doing this. Motivation fades. Purpose is what's going to keep you going. Remind yourself daily, am I doing this for short-term comfort or long-term success? The key to real growth is learning how to take action regardless of how you feel. Because if you only show up when it's easy, you'll never see true results. Discipline over motivation, always. And to make sure you stay on track, I want you to start taking note of your distractions. Like if you're really struggling to stay consistent, take a hard look at what's stealing your time. Distractions steal your time, your energy, and your focus. And most of the time, you don't even realize it. Like scrolling for hours, saying yes to things that drain you, spending time around people with no ambition. All this stuff adds up. If you want to be disciplined and consistent, you need to identify what is it that's pulling you away from your goals and take control of your environment. So you think you've only been scrolling for 5 minutes. Girl, you've been scrolling for an hour. But I get it because this used to be me. So what I did is I started tracking my screen time and I realized that I was spending 3 hours a day on social media. Girl, that's 21 hours a week I could have used on leveling up. So I want you to think about what things make you lose focus the most. Is it that every time you sit down to work, you automatically reach for your phone? If that is you, put your phone in another room so you can focus without temptation. It's also important to create a focus-friendly environment. Your surroundings influence your habits more than you think. If my environment around me is cluttered, my mind feels cluttered too. I try to keep my desk and my environment around me clear. It's also important to set boundaries with people as well as technology. Not every notification or text needs an instant response. What I like to do is turn off my non-essential notifications to protect my time. Being disciplined isn't just about adding good habits. It's also about removing the things that are holding you back. Protect your energy. Protect your focus. And while we're on the topic of energy, discipline doesn't have to feel bored or like robotic, you know? The secret sauce to sticking with your habits is to make them feel enjoyable, like something you actually look forward to. When you start romanticizing your routine, you shift from forcing discipline to embracing it as a lifestyle. So set the mood to make daily tasks feel special. Like when I clean my house, I like to play music. It feels more energetic and fun to me than a chore. Instead of rushing through your morning and your night routine, turn them into moments of peace. For me, I like to start my mornings off very slow. I sip my coffee slowly, and then I set my intentions for my day. At night, I do my skincare like a spa ritual, and then I wind down with a book. Like invest in cute workout sets for the gym. If you work from home, invest in matching loungewear sets. Even if you're running errands, get dressed up for that. It makes every moment feel main character worthy. If you want to be more disciplined with drinking water, invest in a new water bottle to get you excited about drinking water. Even the simplest tasks can feel luxurious if you change your perspective. Instead of rushing through your walks, take your time, enjoy the fresh air, listen to your favorite playlist or your favorite podcast, and romanticize being that girl who takes care of herself. Discipline becomes so much easier when you start romanticizing the process and make your habits feel like acts of self-love instead of obligations. Girl, light a candle before journaling. Play your music while you cleaning. Like when you love your routines, you won't have to force yourself to be consistent. You'll actually want to show up. But let's be real here now. Most of us end up quitting because we don't see results fast enough, right? In a world full of instant everything, discipline is about learning how to pause short-term pleasure for long-term rewards. Delayed gratification is what separates people who stay stuck from those who level up. Because success is not about what feels good right now. It's about what moves you closer to your future self. I mean, just think about it. You can scroll on your phone for hours, or you could use that time to be building your dream life. You could binge junk food, or you could fuel your body for energy and confidence. You could spend money on things you don't need, or you could invest in your future freedom. When you master delayed gratification, you take back control of your life. Instead of chasing quick dopamine hits, you start making choices that align with your goals. And that's where true discipline is built. Every disciplined habit, every small action, like it all adds up. Even if you don't see the results today, you will feel them. You will become them. Discipline is not about getting quick wins. It's about becoming the kind of person who wins long term. Because girl, the woman that you want to become, she's watching, and every choice you make is either building her up or holding her back. Tell me. So now I want to hear from y'all. What's the one area of your life where you know you need more discipline? I have a few myself. Drop it in the comments and let's hold each other accountable. If you've made it this far in this video, I already know that you are serious about stepping into your disciplined girl era. And I'm so proud of you for taking that first step. If this video helped you out, let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you don't miss my next video. Until next time, stay focused, stay consistent, and keep becoming your best self. I'll see you in the next video.